Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast. Today, we're talking about a very Mad Max. Award season is truly underway and getting saggy. HBO is about to show us their balls, basketballs that is, and Marvel is getting ready to introduce the GOAT, or should I say goats. So, join us as we discuss all this and everything else that happened this week in Geek. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace. My name is Kev, and if you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geekcentric, a podcast covering the world of movies, TV shows, toys, collectibles, gaming, and all things geek-centric. Keeping me company as we march towards spring are a couple of lads who are never mad. In fact, they're simply glad to prove we're not just a fad. Of course, I'm referring to J-Law and Nate. How are we doing on this fine evening, gentlemen?
I hope we're not a fad, dude. I mean, listen, I'm a little distracted because you used the word sag and balls in that opener.
And I wasn't referring to myself naked in the shower. Yeah.
No, exactly.
That's hilarious.
Well, speaking of SAG, before we jump into some news from the last few days, the Screen Actors Guild Awards took place on Sunday night. Now, obviously, we're just a few weeks away from the biggest award show in Hollywood, and with that, our week of Oscar coverage, so we won't dive too deep into the SAG winners, but history has shown that a lot of SAG recipients end up taking home the shiny bald statuette later on at the Oscars. And so I just wanted to talk about the fact, I think the biggest surprise for me was seeing Coda pick up some serious hardware. It's by far my favorite of the Best Picture films that I've watched thus far. So do we think that winning the Best Performance by a Cast award at the SAGs means it could take home the Best Picture award later this month? I mean, right after I watched it, I said, this is this year's Green Book.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's a great call out. I do think it creates a interesting conversation, given the fact that Power of the Dog seems like it might be the likely winner, but which I haven't checked out yet, and I plan on checking out, and I haven't checked out Coda either. But from what I've heard of Coda and how heartfelt it is, it seems like it would be the perfect movie to win the Oscar this year.
Yeah, I watched Coda when it first came out, and I'm honestly I would love it to win Best Picture because it is such a lovely film. I don't quite know if it'll get there, but I definitely would love to see. I think Troy Kotsur is up for a nominee, right?
Yes, he's nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and he also won that at the SAGs, which was because
he'll get it.
He'll get it. Yeah,
he's one of my two favorite performances that I've seen so far in watching all 34 of the nominated films. I'll actually speak about one of the other actors who I enjoyed in a very surprising turn of events later on in the show. But yeah, hopefully, if it gets Best Picture or Troy picks up the Best Supporting, I'll be happy. But speaking of the acting nominations, I also just wanted to touch on the fact that Will Smith has now won the Golden Globe and the SAG for Best Male Actor in a Leading Role. So does he finally get the Oscar that he's been chasing? He failed to do it with Ali, failed to do it with Pursuit of Happiness. I think this is the year the Oscars get fresh.
Yeah, we were talking about this last week when Nate brought up that he saw Tick Tick Boom, and the fact that Andrew Garfield's nominated, and that's a role that definitely deserves to be recognized. I don't think that Andrew Garfield will win it because in his lifetime he will see another nomination and he will win. And to the point that you're making, Kevin, Will Smith has had so many opportunities to win this award, and it's just kind of snuck past him. Some really great performances. He's fantastic in King Richard. I absolutely love him.
Really good. Yeah,
I think it's likely. I think it's gonna happen.
He's just one of those actors that even though he's Will Smith all the time, he still does such a good job at making me believe that he's these other people in the way that he portrays them, and the way that he is. I'm not used to seeing him play like an older person. You know what I mean? He's usually youthful. He still
looks so young. He doesn't look nearly his actual age. And here he finally played somebody. He had to be aged up to play somebody that is probably around his age. It's amazing.
So yeah, I think he's going to take it. this time around.
Yeah, I think so too, but I mean, only time will tell. So we'll just have to wait for later this month. But the SAGs, again, were certainly a newsworthy show. And speaking of which, why don't we move into the news?
It's all about the details.
All right, our first story comes from Ryan Leston at IGN. Apparently, Charlize Theron didn't feel safe at the Mad Max set with Tom Hardy. It's no secret that Hardy and Theron had a troubled partnership while filming Fury Road, but a new book by Kyle Buchanan titled Blood, Sweat, and Chrome, The Wild and True Story of Mad Max Fury Road, sheds some light on the tensions, and it's a disturbing read. Theron says she spent several weeks on that movie where I wouldn't know what was going to come my way, and that's not necessarily a nice thing to feel when you're on your job. It was a little bit like walking on thin ice. Speaking to Buchanan, author of the aforementioned Blood, Sweat, and Chrome, Theron and several members of the crew who took part in the lengthy shoot in the Namibian desert accused Tom Hardy of unprofessional behavior. Hardy was apparently known for turning up late to set, and during one incident, this boiled over into a furious, no pun intended, argument between Hardy and Theron. After producers made a special request for Hardy to turn up on time, he nevertheless turned up 3 hours late, all while Charlize was on set and ready to shoot, despite the fact that she was a new mother at the time with her baby in childcare nearby. After Hardy finally arrived, Charlize apparently responded, "How disrespectful are you?" and said the producers should fine the effing C word $100,000 for every minute that he's held up this crew. Hardy apparently responded by charging up to her, demanding, "What did you say to me?" He was quite aggressive, and she felt threatened. At this point, Theron demanded protection on set. So, a lot of people would say that, this tension actually helped enhance the on-screen performances, which were obviously fantastic. But this is clearly unprofessional behavior, specifically from Hardy. Showing up late is not just a dick move to your fellow cast and crew, but can cost the production some serious money. But even worse is threatening a coworker to the point that they feel their safety is in jeopardy. So, I mean, maybe we'll start with just how does this make us feel about Hardy as an actor or as a person, and will this influence future decisions to see his work?
I haven't heard. This is kind of the first time I think a lot of people are hearing this sort of behavior of Tom Hardy. So it's really difficult, I think, for a lot of people when we get these stories that sort of come out here, and we haven't been on every set with Tom Hardy. We haven't seen all this, and I'm not going to apologize for the guy. He sounds like he was being a complete asshole here. But at the same time, I don't know what was going through his head at that time. It makes me really sad, to be honest with you, because yeah, it's super unprofessional. She has a baby that she wants to get back to, and it just seems it like what I just don't understand what in his head would get to a place where he's like, I'm Tom Hardy. Like, he wasn't the best part of that movie to me. So like, why would what's in your head that you think that you are the most important thing to this production, that you'd be willing to act that way? It was really disappointing to hear. As a person, again, it's hard to say off of one story, but based off of this story, he does sound kind of like an asshole.
And I mean, you brought up a good point in that it's not like we're talking about Bruce Willis here, who's just been notoriously a dickhead and rude and awful to work with for years and years and years. Maybe it's just a case of the desert heat getting to him, and it just that sort of got to him, or maybe he was just sort of starting to feel some mainstream North American, superstardom, and that got to him. So yeah, I would like to give somebody the benefit of the doubt in a situation where it is the first time we're sort of hearing of anything like that, but the behavior is certainly questionable.
But I mean, the only thing, though, going back to the article and looking at it, several weeks on set, right? Like, if this was something that she brought up and saying, hey, you're being an asshole, and other people in the crew recognized that he was being awful, and they said something, and he didn't change his ways for several weeks on production, that's a bit different, right? Because I think we talk about all the time in terms of, like, we'll see a tweet come out and be like, that's a shitty thing to say. Like, don't say that. And then they do it again and again and again and again. And you're like, okay, well, now, rightly so, we're not going to listen to you anymore. We don't want anything to do with you anymore. And a lot of companies won't want anything to do with you. So it does sound like it was an ongoing thing. But yeah, man, I don't know. It just especially the part of like not feeling safe. Like that's really freaky to me, and it just seems like
it's one thing if you're Marlon Brando and you're at the end of your career and you're phoning it in and you're not memorizing lines and you're just a pain in the ass to work with. David O. Russell's been known to, as the director, has been known to really yell and lament at his actors. But I mean, screaming and yelling and losing your temper is one thing. To make somebody feel physically unsafe is a whole new level, especially with a female co-star who's literally got their newborn child in a daycare just around the corner. Like that's a frightening thought.
Yeah, and I saw that he tried to come out and say like it was kind of he sort of like did like a non-apology where he like I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but he basically was just sort of saying, well, yeah, Charlize and we both kind of got into it. It was super unprofessional. But he never said like, I'm sorry for the way I acted. Like, you know what I mean? He kind of was like, well, it was both. And it doesn't seem like it was both.
That seems to be trying to share the blame a little. Certainly, hopefully this is an isolated incident. And if not, hopefully he's learned from it. And everybody deserves a chance to grow and learn from their mistakes and be better. So hopefully he changes. Now, moving on to our next story, and speaking of changes, the first image of Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al Yankovic has emerged. And James White of Empire shared the image, and I recommend you check it out because it is wild stuff. I know a few weeks back on This Week in Geek, when we were talking about the casting news at first, we were all a bit like, really? That's an interesting choice. Now that we've seen the image, how do we feel? Are we a little bit more convinced that he's going to pull some Harry Potter magic and pull this off?
Oh yeah, he looks great.
And the thing about it is that he just looks like he fits the role so perfectly, and I love that they are doing something with him that he is going to physically look different from Harry Potter, because I think he does sort of, as an actor, probably struggle a lot with people wanting to bring him into more of these fantasy roles. But like him in like something like, and I bring it up all the time, but Imperium was just such a phenomenal acting job that he did, where I started watching it and I got the feeling of I'm watching Harry Potter, and then very quickly that fell away. So to see him sort of take this on, I'm just intrigued to see how they're going to do this. Are they going to make it comedic, goofy? Is it going to be more serious? Are they going to go the more sort of, right, like the biopic, like actual dramatic aspect to it? And what does that look like to see Weird Al in those situations? Right? And I don't think we've really seen that. I've never seen Weird Al upset or mad, to be honest with you.
That's why I think this will be one of a lighter biopic, and I think there's no doubt that Weird Al Yankovic is a kooky guy, both in persona and just I've seen him in interviews, and he's not a calm sit there. He's a loud, colorful guy, and I mean, when you look at some roles that Radcliffe has had in the past, he was a young kid on this, but Ricky Gervais extra, and he's playing like an exaggerated version of himself. He's the bad guy in Now You See Me Too, and he's really over the top, and even Swiss Army Man, and he's playing not just a very straight-laced character, but he gets in touch with the kookier side. So I really do think he can pull this off, and I really hope that Roku pulls this off, backed by this performance, and it can convince you, Nate, that not everything has to be made by HBO or Netflix or something you
or
trust,
FX,
or something you trust a bit more.
Yeah.
Because that's just what we need, is another solid streaming platform to fill our schedules of watching that much more.
Give them all to me. But like I'm intrigued. Like I think I've only really witnessed, and the reason maybe I haven't seen some of this drama is because I've only witnessed Weird Al through his music and through interviews. But I'm just doing a quick Google search, and apparently, he's had like a lot of like chaotic relationships with different celebrities, and he's been married I think at least once or twice. So I think if that's kind of where they're focusing, it seems like that's kind of what they're looking at in terms of where to focus and hookups and different things like that. It'll be really intriguing. I'm just stoked to get more Daniel Radcliffe in like serious acting chops. Again, like I want to see more of him. I think he's again, a lot of people just see Harry Potter, and I'm excited for him to move past that in his career.
I love this idea that the Weird Al movie is going to be about love and romance, because that's just what I picture when I think of Weird Al is the romantic at heart, right?
But again, that's the intriguing part. Is
Sure.
maybe that's how they get you. Is you're like, holy crap, I didn't think we were gonna get a scene where I'm like, I feel heartbroken for Weird Al's relationship.
He'll go write a parody now. Yeah.
There we go.
Well, let's move on to our next story. And now this might feature slight spoilers for the movie. So if you're a Marvel fan who's a little scared of spoilers, maybe steer clear of this next segment. We've gotten very few details about the upcoming Thor: Love and Thunder. Especially as set photos have been few and far between, and we don't even have a whiff of a trailer yet. That said, as is often the case these days, a preview of a Lego set from a recent reveal of upcoming Lego sets and Hasbro toys for the movies shows a sneak peek at things that, maybe the Marvel marketing itself wouldn't have shown us, at least until a trailer. Brendan Klein of Screen Rant reports the reveals included new Hasbro models of Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, as well as Titan Hero series figures of Korg, Mighty Thor, and Thor. But the biggest little nugget came from Lego set number 76208. The 564-piece set shows Thor, Mighty Thor, Valkyrie, and Korg on a flying Viking ship led by legendary goats. That is a sentence I never thought I'd say in my life. The ghosts pictured in the Lego set are most likely Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder, characters who have assisted Thor in his transportation needs in the comics since the 1970s. In addition, another set, 76207, entitled Attack on New Asgard, shows a huge scorpion-like monster, which will apparently be wreaking havoc on New Asgard. And the set also features what many assume to be our first look at Gore the God Butcher in what I would consider a somewhat less than impressive fashion. But so, what do we think of these reveals? Who else would you trust to introduce goats into the MCU other than Taika Waititi? And do we think Marvel and Lego need to find a way to keep these sets a bit more secretive until movies hit theaters? Because a lot of big MCU spoilers have kind of come from these recent Lego releases.
A lot of spoilers in general have come from
Yeah.
Lego releases, and it's definitely become a bit of an issue, I think, in terms of trying to keep some level of secrecy around things and surprise. Thankfully, there was no Spider-Man set with 3 sets of Spider-Mans in it, right? That was released.
But I have the Doctor Strange and in the Multiverse of Madness first set that they've released, and it's got Gargantos and the showdown, and this was revealed prior to us seeing this.
But
in
that
any
movie
sort
was
of
also
trailer.
delayed, right? So I think that
Correct.
part of the
so
reason
this was
why
in production.
part of the reason why these things are happening right now, especially, is because movie schedules have been shifted, but the release of products and marketing material has not. So I think that's very much the reason why a lot of these spoilers are happening. But it's just that there's no communication between Marvel and Lego. They can't, get their ducks in a row and say, hey, you want to hold off on releasing that?
I call bull because the biggest marketing toy, collectible, anything of the last 5 years is 100%, no doubt, Grogu. And they managed to keep that thing a secret until we saw Grogu on screen. And so if you can keep that under wraps and miss out on potential sales, then everybody can.
But
in my opinion.
But Kevin, they didn't have that in production.
They
It took a
reveal
while
it.
for Grogu to come out after the reveal.
So do it that
didn't
way.
happen.
That's better than spoiling movies through Lego sets.
I will say, though, in a little bit of Lego's defense, you called bull, I'll call goat. I think that if this was not Taika Waititi doing this movie, I would look at a set like this from Lego and be like, oh no, this is just a fun Lego set. Because Lego's done that in the past where we've gotten stuff that has nothing to do with the movie. That's like, like someone's beach house. And you're like, there was never a beach house in this movie. Like, what are you talking about? So, but the fact that it's Taika Waititi, 100% we're getting a goat boat in this movie. And I'm so excited for this. I think for me, I was a little bit more intrigued by the look at the little minifig for Gore the God Butcher, and just the idea that, like, is he going to be CGI? Is he going to be, are they going to have like a prosthetic? Like, what's that actually going to look like?
Yeah, because, the Lego figure makes him look like just a humanoid, like almost like a mummy, rather than the sort of alien creature that he is from the comics,
Yeah, I feel like he looks, from at least some of the leaked behind-the-scenes photos, like, he looks very Voldemort style. So I wonder if they do something like they did with Voldemort. I think in some instances it was just CGI, right? Like they dotted out his nose and then they masked on that sort of snake-like look, right? So
because when you get Christian Bale into the MCU, I want to see his acting. You know what I mean? Like I want to see his threatening, his emoting, villainous face, his emoting, and don't get me wrong, like Thanos was pretty well done,
right?
But I want Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher, not like a CGI.
I disagree. I want the character. I want the actor to play a character, not the character to be reduced so that the actor can have a role. Look at Bill Nighy who's a terrific actor in Pirates of the Caribbean when he played Davy Jones. He was able to emote and give a performance covered in 5 feet of CGI around his head. I think,
and you could tell it was still him.
Make it work.
You could still tell it was him. Yeah,
and just like you mentioned, Thanos. There's another one where they clearly have done a lot of CG, but you could still tell that it was Brolin emoting and doing that performance.
Yeah.
Well, then fine, but then at least make sure we get somebody cast really good as Tooth Gnasher, because I think for them to pull off that role, yeah, man. Cool. Well, I'm gonna buy this Lego set right now.
Well, I think if these Lego sets have done anything, it's got me amped. We're getting close to where a trailer has got to be around the corner. Maybe
come on,
let's do it. Maybe before Doctor Strange, or maybe just after. But we're getting into that window, so hopefully we see a trailer soon. And speaking of trailers,
it's trailer time.
All right, our first trailer comes from HBO. Winning Time: The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty is an upcoming American sports drama television series created by Max Borenstein and Jim Hesht for HBO, based on the book Showtime, Magic, Kareem, Riley, and the Los Angeles Lakers Dynasty of the 1980s. Man, that's a long book title. That was written by Jeff Pearlman. Episodes will be directed by Adam McKay. I found this interesting. Jonah Hill. And several others. The show features an ensemble cast with John C. Reilly, Sally Field, Adrian Brody, Jason Clarke. It features Quincy Isaiah as Magic Johnson and Solomon Hughes as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And the casting there is unbelievable. The series is set to premiere on March 6th. So we're just a few days away from another excellent HBO series that I'm looking forward to. I'm the sports guy. This is my jam. I can't wait to see this. How about you guys?
I'm looking forward to it. It totally captures the sort of vibe of the time, and there's just such a stylistic approach to it that looks very 70s, right? Like it just has so much grain, the aesthetic, the lighting, everything. It's just feels like it's a lot of fun, and it's great that Jonah Hill is. Did you say he's writing? Is he directing too, or
he's directing an episode? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense because he's very much transitioning his career right into being more than just the kind of guy that we would expect him to be that was in Don't Look Up. He is making a name for himself as a sort of filmmaker and producer, writer, doing music videos and all sorts of stuff. So it's cool that he's gonna do an episode. That was a fun surprise to learn.
Yeah, he might be he probably got pretty tight with Adam McKay on Don't Look Up.
I think Adam McKay's just tight with people in general, right? Like
tight with people in general.
Well, like Jason Segel is in this thing, right? Like I think that's a fantastic cast.
He's got his roster,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Like he has people that I think he works with, right? So I'm very excited for this show. I thought it looked great.
It looks like it's filmed in the 80s too, and it's cool how they've got sort of they seem to be blending the production value a little bit too, where some of the scenes in the trailer look like they're fresh and really super high definition, and then other ones look really like crappy looking, and it's really cool. And I'm honestly excited to learn more about Magic Johnson and about the Lakers in general, because I think again, I'm not the sports guy like yourself, Kevin, and for me it almost takes these dramatizations to get me excited and get me intrigued in them, because there are some really interesting stories in this world. And so to see them be told in this way, I think I think for a lot of people that would look at something like this or look at some sports movies or shows and just sort of say, well, I'm not into that sport, so I probably won't like that show or movie. The whole point of these shows is to give you the emotion behind these situations that these real life people went through. And so I'm really stoked for that. I think I really want to quickly just shout out, like, seeing John C. Reilly in a serious role is awesome to me. I
don't think
always
this is going to be very serious at all, man.
Yeah.
No, you think he's going to be all goofy?
Big time. Oh, big time.
He's definitely gonna play that up. So I feel like this is very Adam McKay. This whole thing, and it's just nice that it's pocketed within the sports world, right? Like, we already get a lot of those moments in the trailer where it's, you know, the fourth wall breaking, and, you know, the characters are interacting with the camera and sharing parts of the story. All of it feels very intentional and makes sense for the kind of work. So it's natural that John C. Reilly's character would be dramatized to a certain degree, but I think, far more caricature, as you said, Kevin, when we did the review.
and I think this is going to be a fun look at this time. I don't want to give too much away. Not that I know all the details, but I know some of what's going on here. And I mean, if you look at basketball now, it's one of the most watched sports around the world, and they're notorious for their annual slam dunk competition. Right. There's a lot of showmanship that goes on. In the 70s, basketball was a fledgling organization. They were bleeding money. Barely anybody was watching, and at this time, Jerry Buss, who John C. Reilly plays, he buys the Lakers and literally makes it an event, a spectacle to behold. And so I think this is going to be fun, loud, exciting, and like personally, I'm really looking forward to not just the on-court, but the court-side action that we're going to get, because the Lakers are notorious for celebrities sitting courtside. We're going to get Jack Nicholson, Richard Pryor, Rod Stewart, played by different actors. I think that's going to be a really fun thing to watch.
Yeah.
And I do think it gives me, but to your point of it being a little bit more of a caricature, sure, but I'm also getting a lot of feelings of some of the more dramatic and serious stuff we see from Righteous Gemstones, right? Where, again, I get this is an HBO production, so that's probably why the two are kind of near in my mind in terms of thinking about them. But I just feel like I'm intrigued to see him get mad. I want to see John C. Reilly take on a serious tone, because, dude, like, I feel like a lot of comedians, a lot of comedic actors get looked at as comedy is easier than like an Oscar level performance, but in reality, it's definitely harder to pull off in some instances.
Yeah, so. But I don't think that this is going to be totally void of drama. I think you're going to have. Sure. I think you're going to have that moment. You're going to have a very meaningful, dramatic moment with John C. Reilly, but it's going to be one moment that's really going to stand out. And everything else, I think, around that is going to be very character based, and I think
we'll see.
He's going to get mad. But I think he's going to be. I think he's still going to be funny when he's mad. John C. Reilly is naturally a funny person. I can't take him seriously, in all honesty. Like that's
I don't think you're going to get it here. Like, Nate, you keep trying to find seriousness in topics that don't have it. Like, if you want a serious drama, go watch Yellowstone. Go watch Succession. The Righteous Gemstones is the furthest thing from a serious television show. A dude got poked in the eye with a penis the other day. I mean, come on. These aren't the shows you're looking for. But this next show might be, because I have a feeling this will be very serious. Moving on to our second trailer. Under the Banner of Heaven is an upcoming true crime drama television miniseries based on the nonfiction book of the same name by John Krakauer. It is adapted by Oscar-winning screenwriter Dustin Lance Black and directed by David Mackenzie. It tells the story of a Mormon police detective whose faith is shaken when investigating the murder of a woman that seems to involve the church. The show stars Andrew Garfield, Daisy Edgar-Jones, Sam Worthington, Wyatt Russell, and Rory Culkin. It premieres sometime this spring on FX on Hulu and internationally on Star Plus. I got serious, true detective vibes from this one. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, 100%.
I was feeling that. I was feeling The Outsider as well.
Sure.
I got major Outsider vibes from just how creepy this was. The music in this trailer, guys, like the like that. Oh, dude,
I also got some Ozark vibes, but just not the family-based stuff. But like, with the trailer, with that sort of intensity of like the score and the sound, I think that with that bleeding effect that they used in the trailer quite a bit. Yeah, this was totally like True Detective vibes to the core. Even I think the theme of you want serious, Nate? Go watch True Detective. That'll put you in a hole, make you cry.
That'll keep you up at night. There you go.
I love it.
I will say, I've now watched him in 2 movies this week. The man is winning me over, movie by movie. The guy made me like a musical the other day. Of course, I'm talking about Andrew Garfield, and this is just another different role that he's playing here. I love actors that can come and fit in to any character you sort of give them, and this just seems like another role that he's going to knock out of the park. I'm a big Andrew Garfield guy. Not that I ever disliked him, but I love the man right now. He's my boy.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him in this, and I'm also really excited to see more Wyatt Russell,
yes,
who was John Walker in Falcon and Winter Soldier. He looks great in this. I hope we get to see him as some sort of a villain here. In this trailer, we also do see, I'm just trying to find his name here, Christopher Heyerdahl, who we've seen in Peacemaker just recently, who was like the really creepy looking guy that was like the police chief or whatever, or the fake police chief. I'm really intrigued to see. He's playing a character named Eamon Lafferty. It's going to be intriguing. I've never read this book, but anytime you bring in some of these different elements of mixing in religion and this sort of homicide detective story,
makes
like
it creepy.
It's a
whole other level of horror because it's so real, right? And it actually does happen. And that's what I think was so nail biting about True Detective and the case that they were on, and the sort of brutality it makes for good horror. And obviously this book definitely came before this series, so it's going to be interesting how they do their own sort of vibe of a True Detective but with this story.
Justin, like you were saying, because this is based on a nonfiction book, it's set in reality, and that, like, I don't like horror movies because I don't like jump scares. I don't like sitting there waiting to be scared and then being scared. But real horror, real terror like this is the scariest thing you can imagine. And so this might pack a real punch, but it's still something I'm looking forward to being scared by.
And I love that this is the look that we're getting at it so close to its release, in the sense that it's a great trailer. Like, this got me intrigued. The music was freaky. Like, it did just enough to get me to want to look into it and to learn more and then to watch it. But it didn't give everything away. It wasn't like this super long sort of drawn out thing. It was a really good trailer. So I think more teasers like this, please. More trailers like this. This is kind of the stuff I want.
But you're right. The next 2 trailers, they give
it
too
seems
much.
like we give a lot away. All right, well, speaking of which, why don't we move on to our next trailer, which is also a drama. You're going to get lots of drama on this one, Nate. Don't you worry.
Yay!
We Crashed is an upcoming drama streaming television miniseries based on the podcast We Crashed, The Rise and Fall of WeWork by Wondery. We Crashed will follow the greed-filled rise and inevitable fall of WeWork, one of the world's most valuable startups, and the narcissists whose chaotic love made it all possible. The series stars Jared Leto, Anne Hathaway, Kyle Marvin, and America Ferrera. It is set to premiere on Apple TV Plus on March 18th, 2022, so again, right around the corner.
It always surprises me how every time I see Jared Leto, I have to wait until it says starring Jared Leto to know that it's Jared frickin' Leto. He never looks like himself. He never sounds like
it's
himself.
Getting a bit much. It's getting a bit much.
It's getting a lot. I'm intrigued by this. I think this is going to be a good addition to the Apple TV lineup. We'll see if it makes it past the first season. I think it'll either be great and up there with the morning show, or I think it might not.
I don't think that
this is a mini-series. I think this is going to be a story, and that's it. This is a 5-hour movie cut into parts more than it is giving the potential for second and third seasons. But I'm jumping back on that Jared Leto point because I watched him last night in House of Gucci, and there he is as another unrecognizable character. Although I think with Jared Leto, he does constantly bring a different performance, and sometimes it works. Dallas Buyers Club. Sometimes it doesn't. See Suicide Squad or House of Gucci. Papa! Sometimes it's a bit like,
it was much.
This one seems like he's not going too far.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
He was unrecognizable, but also seemed like a real person, and that I appreciate. He's got to sort of find that balance of where, like, he could be the new Gary Oldman, who's different and unrecognizable in every role, but never went over the top unless the role really called for it. And so look to his work and see where there's a cap on these over the top performances that you have to find, Jared.
You're right. It's sometimes they're hits, sometimes they're misses. And, I think House of Gucci was a total miss, right? Like, I think he went too far with it, and it takes you out. It takes you right
you
out
don't
of it.
like my clothing.
Yes, it was laughable. And I'm like, I don't know if I should be laughing right now, but you know what I mean? So like here, at least, like when he gets into the accents and like he nails the German accent, right? But like, I don't know. It's one of those things where we're going to have to see it and then see how he really does portray with the accents and if things are laughable.
And no respect to Mr. Leto. Obviously, you're listening right now.
No
Jared.
respect.
No respect. No respect.
No
respect to him.
disrespect?
Yeah.
No, that's what I think I meant.
No respect to him. Okay. Yeah. No worries, man.
We get you on the Geekcentric podcast.
No disrespect. Come on the show. We love you. But I do think that I'm actually more excited to see Anne Hathaway in this miniseries.
I love her.
I'm always
she's
excited
fantastic.
to see Anne.
She's so phenomenal. She looks like she's gonna go toe to toe with some really phenomenal like acting chops and other actors in this show. And I'm really excited to kind of see. I feel like the show, based on the trailer, because maybe we've already seen the whole show based on how long that trailer was. It feels like they're gonna go in a direction of like he's gonna kind of be on the outside, and we're really following her story and her, her move throughout the company.
I think it's going to shift. It looks like it's going to shift. It looks like it's going to start with they're together, they're making this thing happen, and then you're going to start to see how he's kind of like...
how it breaks.
Exactly, and how they start to kind of fall apart. But you're absolutely right. I think that the show has such a good dramatic tone to it that its trailer oversells it, and it tries way too hard to actually throw so much in to really make it. Like, you have Anne Hathaway and Jared Leto. Honestly, that was enough for me to just click on the damn thing to want to see.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Right. So just trusting like some of the range and the dramatic performances that you got, and maybe cutting a trailer with that's a little bit more exciting, but then also mysterious as to like how did the story happen. I feel like that would probably be a better approach.
Normally I'd agree. We talk about that all the time on this show, but when your show is called something, the rise and fall, you do know the story already. The title gives everything away in that sense, right? So a trailer isn't going to sort of give anything away that the 5 words in the title are already doing. I will say I have no idea what WeWork is or was.
Is it a real company?
Yeah. This is so I'm looking forward to finding out, and I always love a success gone bad story. Anytime there's a true story that comes out that I don't know anything about, I stay away from the details so that I can learn about them on the show. Just to keep that mystery. But yeah,
no, I've seen this in like a mall before. I'm pretty sure I've seen this in like a mall or like it's like a space that you can go and you just...
Well, they were commonly like in like buildings, like actual buildings. I'd never been to one at a mall. Yeah, the trailer sets it up really well where it's like when you think of a workspace or, a common workspace, what do you think of? He describes a boring office, and the whole idea is this sort of open concept, very collaborative, and trying to get people to like sort of work together.
Way too many spoilers there, Justin. Thanks a lot. Now I don't even have to watch it.
All right, well, before you guys give away any more spoilers here, let's move to our final trailer. And now, Nate, despite the title, we are not going to get drama, and there's not going to be a real sense of dread here. Of course, I'm talking about the trailer for The Bad Guys, or Sheesh, depending on who you want to believe. If you look at IMDb, it's called Sheesh now, but all the promotional materials say The Bad Guy. We'll talk about this in a sec. But yes, so The Bad Guys is an upcoming computer-animated crime comedy produced by DreamWorks Animation and distributed by Universal Pictures. It's directed by Pierre Perifel in his debut, from a screenplay by Ethan Cohen, not Ethan Cohen, and Hillary Winston, and is based on the children's book series of the same name by Aaron Blabey, who serves as executive producer. In a world where humans and anthropomorphic animals coexist, a gang of criminal animals known as Mr. Wolf, Mr. Piranha, Mr. Snake, Mr. Shark, and Miss Tarantula have made a deal to go good to avoid serving prison time after taking some advice from Professor Marmalade. While Mr. Wolf and his gang are beginning to enjoy this new lifestyle, a new villain emerges. The film stars Sam Rockwell, Mark Moran, Craig Robinson, Anthony Ramos, Aquafina, Richard Iode, Zazie Beats, Lily Singh, and Alex Bornstein. The Bad Guys is scheduled to be theatrically released in the United States on April 22nd, 2022. Sheesh is also scheduled to be released on that day. So yeah, what do we think? First of all, like, how do you market a movie when you're calling it two different things no matter where you look? That's a crazy strategy.
This reminds me of what was it, The End of the World? Or no, what was that one with Tom Cruise where it was like at World's, no, what was it called?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow, and then it was like Never Stop Dying or something like that. I can't quite remember. But they had different
all you
names
need
for
is
it.
Kill.
Was that the Nether one? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, All You Need Is Kill.
Just...
Switching from All You Need Is Kill to Edge of Tomorrow is a good strategy. Switching from The Bad Guys, which perfectly summarizes and sets up your movie, to Sheesh.
Sheesh. I really hope this movie's not called Sheesh. I will say, I going into this, I'd never read the book, so I didn't know what to expect. But honestly, when I first saw this trailer, I thought, okay, another animated movie with animals acting like people. Here we go. Just give me Zootopia 2 already. That's what I really want. But then I gotta say, man, I started really looking at this trailer, and I'm kind of digging the aesthetic. I'm digging the look. It kind of looks a little cell-shaded at times, which I thought was really cool. And having us follow the bad guys is kind of a welcome change for an animated movie. It feels like it's going to be like a heist story.
Well, yeah.
I'm a big fan of the cast. And
I'm jumping on right where you said the first trailer I watched, I wasn't digging the look. I thought, oh, that's some ugly animation. And now all of a sudden I'm watching it going, did they change something? Or am I just watching this through a different lens? I'm not sure. But you're
or did you watch a different trailer? You watched the Bad Guys trailer. This is the trailer for Sheesh.
Oh, maybe they are two different movies. And I'm just really confused. But this is definitely like a cartoon version of Suicide Squad meets Ocean's 11. Almost like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of vibes I'm getting from it. I will admit, though, the end of the trailer does sort of seem to give away the direction that these characters are going to go, which is a little upsetting, but maybe I'm reading too much into it.
Yeah, it seems to be another trailer that's giving too much away.
Yeah, it's giving way too much away because it's trying to sell this to kids, right? And it's trying to sell it to parents. And honestly,
I mean, kids don't care, right? So these are the kind of movies where you can do that because kids don't watch trailers and pay attention to what's going on. They just go, oh, that looks like a fun character in bright colors. I want to see that.
Yeah, because I think there's a better way to handle introducing these guys as bad guys and then, saving the idea that they have to be good for the movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, you didn't need to put that in the trailer. Like, I don't know, save something for the movie.
Yeah, but I would have totally been sold on just an idea of here's a cartoon from the perspective of the bad guys. And then if you went in there and it was this whole story where they're trying to be good and are they, aren't they, that would have been a lot more intriguing to see play out over the course of a movie instead of over a 2-minute trailer.
But I'm really excited for Richard Ayoade as Professor Marmalade. I think was what really brought me in for this. Or like Mr. Piranha, like Anthony Ramos, when he like bubbles up in the hot tub and he's like, hey, just like something about those like little moments are really fantastic. And I honestly, watching this trailer gave me vibes of like a Sony Animations production more than it did DreamWorks. So I think it's kind of cool to see how these movies seem to sort of be blending and adapting and maybe borrowing things from each other. But I'm stoked for this. I can't lie. I'm really excited to see if this turns out to be good or if it's just going to be another animal acting like human movie.
Which it very well likely will be. But I mean, hey, Sam Rockwell as your lead, I'm in. The guy's amazing and does almost no wrong. So that's enough to sell me to at least check it out. All right, well, that does it for trailer time. Before we wrap things up, we're going to end things like we always do, at least recently, and that is with Whatcha. We're going to look at what we've been watching, reading, playing, that sort of thing. So why don't we start with Nate, Whatcha?
So we kind of talked about it earlier. I watched King Richard. I really, really enjoyed it. And like I was saying about winning time, it makes me almost wish that I had paid more attention to the Williams sisters growing up. I mean, I was a bit younger, to be honest with you, so I wasn't, and I'm not into tennis at all.
That's
So I
probably
didn't-
one of the biggest factors.
biggest factors there, right?
Yeah, because I was into tennis and I knew them, but I was like,
But I never followed their story, and it's so fascinating. And this movie was excellent. And yeah, Will Smith, he's gonna get this Oscar. And I also think Anjanou Ellis was phenomenal. Like, the entire cast in this movie was phenomenal. But them two playing off each other, and I will say, John Bernthal was completely transformed. I didn't know he could play characters like Rick Macy.
A nice guy. He
before.
never plays a nice guy.
Ever.
You know, no,
ever. He's
I
a
will
tough,
say,
brooding guy.
I will say, I mean, if you see the real life pictures of this guy, they gave him a cool middle part haircut. Give him the bowl cut that this guy had in real life. You know, we've seen prosthetics and teeth and everything like that. So give him the big gap tooth. Like, they could have made Barenthal transform even more into this guy. He just kind of looked like a cool, muscular, nice guy, you know, instead of being a bit of a dweeb like the real guy is, you know. So that was the only upsetting thing. But the performances, like you said, Nate, are incredible. And I just think it's an unbelievable story. This is one of the truest true story sports movies I've ever seen. Like, looking into it afterwards and going, wow, like, point for point, these things actually happen. This man literally said, I'm going to have two daughters. They're going to play tennis, and they are both going to become the best in the world. Like, and it happened exactly how he laid it out. It is unbelievable, this story.
because he worked at it, right? Like, he worked at it. He made them work at it, right? And I think
no matter how hard you work, you could spend every day of your life skating on an ice rink and doing slap shots and whatever. It doesn't mean you're going to be even a good hockey player, let alone the best in the world. It's crazy that he was able to do this, you know?
The only thing I will say, though, that I think the only negative for me was there was a bit of a few issues with pacing and a bit of a narrative focus issue with the movie, where it does sort of, and I don't really want to spoil too much, but it's, how can you spoil it? I guess it happened. But in the sense of, like, they kind of show the same narrative 2 times in a row, where we kind of get this sort of this you know, how he goes about keeping his daughter back for a certain reason, then he kind of does it again. And so I just felt like there was a little bit too much repetition within the middle of the movie. And then I also think, like, it really focused on Venus, and I get that Venus was the first, and then Serena kind of came up after her, but I felt like they did sort of push her to the side. And Demi Singleton was so charming as Serena. I kind of wanted a little bit more of her in the movie than we got. But other than that, dude, like, if this is sports movies, Kevin, I'm gonna need a list. I'm gonna need a list of some good.
I could find you some good biopics. Okay, cool.
So
that's a fun project I'll work on to shoot
go.
your way. Just, how about yourself? Whatcha?
Yeah, I've been doing my Oscar rewatch, if you will, of things. So I watched King Richard. I watched Spencer again this weekend. One that I didn't watch, though, that I wanted to check out, which was actually from Apple TV, A24's The Tragedy of Macbeth. I wasn't thinking that I was going to be crazy about this movie, and I wasn't crazy about it. But the design and the way it was
visually,
shot
it looks awesome.
It was incredible. It looks so good. Like, the fact that it's a very contained set, but the way the outdoor elements feel like they're also contained in a set, like in a stage performance. Like, it's just, there's such a theatricality to the way everything is set up. Very German expressionism with the harsh lighting and the shadows, and just strong sense of the, what they call the mise en scène, like the set, the way everything's designed and so on. So I really enjoyed that aspect. But yeah, like, it was cool to see Denzel as Macbeth, but I think it's like, when you get into Shakespeare language, it kind of sometimes takes you out of it, right? Like, there's great moments.
It is, and they've done it so much. They've done this story itself so many times.
So, that's the other thing too.
So the thing is, you can't bring anything new to the narrative. So I'm so appreciative that Joel Cohen brought the aesthetic differences that we've never seen before, because he had to, and I think he realized that probably, and so that was a great move.
So this might be cheating when we do our Oscars prediction, but are you guys giving me my answer without having to watch Tragedy of Macbeth for production design? Do we think that's going to be our production design winner?
I would imagine so. I mean, it would be. I don't think I've watched all the films that.
I'm not going to say that yet.
I still haven't even seen Macbeth myself. I haven't even seen it myself yet, but that would be my front runner for that pick. Put a little asterisk on your prediction list if you're putting that together already.
Kevin, what ya been watching?
Well, like you guys, I'm doing my Oscar watch. I set out to watch every single movie outside of the documentary and short film categories that have been nominated, which means there are a total of 34 movies. I'm at 18, so I've crossed the
and
halfway.
you still have like a month to go.
Yeah, so we're gonna do it. I didn't think it was possible, but we did a couple 3 movie days over the last 2 weekends. So
Yeah, but you're always
did
good
some
like
work.
that, though. You'll just sit down and
if I
binge.
have to, I'll stay
You
up
have
till
to
4
do
in the
it.
morning and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll get
exactly.
done. But so over the halfway point.
Before anything else, that'll get done.
And I mean, I got to say, there have been some surprises along the way. I'll save my thoughts, though, I think, for the big Oscar shows that we have planned. Outside of the Oscars, I haven't had time to watch much because I have been busy watching monitors in doctors' offices because in August, Sarah and I are welcoming our first child.
What?
Congratulations. My God.
No! Justin, you're going to have to turn down the mic for this part. I'm so sorry. Holy crap. That's amazing.
Yeah, we are quite excited. Yeah.
At first you're like monitors, and I'm like, no, what's going on, Kevin? Please,
even
why are you
think
doing
about it
this
like
on the
that.
podcast? But
No, instead
holy
I wanted
crap,
to bring
man!
joy to the podcast. I thought this would be a
I had
fun
a
way to share
suspicion.
the big news.
I had a suspicion.
Dude.
Yeah?
Congratulations,
Well,
man!
imagine poor Sarah going through the holidays and everything, and she said she was eating for 2 and I was drinking for 2 because anytime she'd have a cocktail, I'd have to put that back. And but yeah, so we've been doing our best to hide, keep it. Till we could get to the point of announcing. But yeah, she's about 15 weeks along, and we are nervous and scared, but over the moon excited.
Dope.
Dude, I'm so excited to see little Nate or little Justina or whatever
No,
it's going to be.
I'm telling you, boy or girl, I'm telling you what, I'm right now to plan right now for what sport they're going to play,
Yep.
and they're going to be the best in the world at what they do.
Let's go.
I'm going to King Richard the hell out of this baby.
Oh, that's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, congratulations.
Oh,
That's
thank
awesome.
you so much. Thank you so much. I thought I'd share that with some of my besties and our listeners around the world.
Cool.
But that
Sick.
is it for This Week in Geek. Thanks for tuning in wherever you listen to podcasts. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and leave us a glowing review. We always appreciate the love. And also, you can always reach out and say hi, ask us a question about any of the news or trailers covered today, or about anything that we cover. Did any of the trailers catch your attention, or are you just excited that The Batman finally hits theaters this week? You can let us know at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com, or if that reminds you too much of the 1970s Lakers, hit us up on Twitter at GeekcentricYT and Instagram at wearegeekcentric. Keep in mind, we also have a ton of other episodes covering a variety of other content and new content always coming your way. To celebrate Pokemon Day, Nate was joined by Canadian actor Monroe Chambers and Pokemon content creator Mr. Mitch George to discuss the latest announcements from the Pokemon Company, including the announcement of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Our spoiler-free review of Uncharted is also available, and every week, just like right now, we come at you with This Week in Geek. Plus, stay tuned for our reviews of The Batman, Fresh, and Turning Red, which will be hitting your eardrums in the near future. But until next time, J-Law, Nate, thanks for joining me this week in Geek. And as we say,
Love you. Congrats, Kevin and Sarah.
woo! Get home safe, guys.
Peace.